Hi everyone and welcome. Thanks so much for joining me today. And Cody says welcome as well. My name is Tina, also known as Blooming Knitter, and this is Knitting Blooms. I have some show notes today. It feels like yesterday that I recorded. Well, it kind of is earlier than normal because for the last year and a half or so, almost 2 years I think, maybe, no, not quite 2 years, about a year and a half, I have only been recording every other week, and now I'm trying to go back to every week. Having shorter shows, but still recording every week. So I'm glad my knitting mojo is back because I have a reasonable amount of knitting to show you today. I have made progress on a number, of my projects, which I'm going to show you today. But before we get into the knitting part, the projects, and what I've done, I have a few announcements that I want to make sure I don't forget to tell you about. First and foremost, the mystery knit along, all the clues are out. It's completely released. And you have until like the first week in December to post your finished objects in the finished object thread. If I'm recording every week, I will probably draw a winner that first week in December. I don't know what day that is. I know that the 28th is Thanksgiving, and I probably will still record an episode that week, but I might not record it until Friday. But it'll be the following week that I draw the winners for the mystery knit along. And I have pretty much decided what name I'm going to call the shawl, but I am leaving that thread open a little bit longer because I did not get organized today before sitting down to record this, and so I don't have the names of the people who had made suggestions. But if you still have a suggestion, please feel free to go in there. I am still, considering other options if something else comes up that I like better. I don't know what I was going to say. Anyway, so yeah, I will hopefully announce that next week. It's just been a busy week this week. I just feel like I haven't had much time to really do stuff in the evenings. I haven't been so busy at work, but just in the evenings I have been busy with other things. Also, I want to remind you about the graceful pullover, the pattern that is a charity pattern for Maria's friend. Maria is the designer. I can't remember what her last name is, Maria's last name. It's a charity fundraiser for a friend of hers who lost her husband and her children lost their father. And she is trying to sell 1,000 patterns in the month of November so that she can give the money to the family. And I will be drawing 2 winners probably on the 28th. And then I'm not going to even wait for you guys to contact me. I will probably just go ahead and send those patterns. And depending on how things go, I might do more than 2. So that will be the week that I record Thanksgiving. And I think that's all the general information. I did not get to another book review this week. I had hoped to be able to do another book review. I started to look at one of the books. Actually, I looked at a couple of different books, but they were books that had a little bit more technical detail in them, and it wasn't a book that I could just kind of flip through, glance at the patterns a little bit, and do a comprehensive review. So what I might be doing is having more of a knit-along review kind of thing, because one of the books is Sock Architecture, and as I was flipping through the book, I'm looking at all the different toes and heels and stuff that are in the book. And I'm considering doing some kind of like, you know how you might knit a swatch? And I'm thinking about doing some of the sample heels and toes and what have you, just to kind of get an idea of what they're like. I don't know that I will knit an entire sock with everything because that would take forever, but I'm thinking about starting that type of review with this book because, like I said, it is quite technical, and if you are interested in basically trying different techniques on socks, this book has a lot of different techniques. I was just flipping through it on the Kindle app. I think was it the Kindle app? I can't remember what app I was looking, but I was looking at the digital version and I was flipping through it. It might have even been on my computer. But there's a lot of information in there, and I just don't feel like I could do a quick 5-minute review and give you the gist of the book. So that's my idea, that maybe in the next few weeks I will start doing up some samples and show you those on the podcast so you can kind of get an idea of what is included in that book. I do have a couple other books to review also that are a little bit shorter. The books are a little bit shorter, have less patterns, not as much technical detail. So hopefully in the next week or so I will be able to at least get one more book review done so I can get that out of the way. I did update the list of VKNs. At this moment, I have no idea what the list is. Your guess is as good as mine. I would have to go to the website and look up the next VKN. Actually, I've put them all in my calendar, so there's a reminder to let me know. But there is a list. I think I have the list going through maybe the beginning of February. So if you would like to join in, I've got some Saturdays, some Fridays, and even some Sunday afternoons, hoping that somewhere in there will be a good time for everyone. We do still have the Knit Your Stash Challenge going, and I probably will do a drawing next month or next week for that, for the finished objects and the chatter. And I have to pick a prize for the finished objects. It'll probably be some sort of skein of yarn or something to that effect. And also the chatter is going to be for a pattern. What else? I think that's all the basic stuff, all the general chatter. Get that out of the way at the beginning. And now we can talk about my knitting. I got a lot of stuff done, and VKN last Friday helped me complete 2 pairs of socks. The first pair are the black socks of Doom. They are done. I had just that much left. I know, just that much left to do after I recorded last week, so not much at all. This sock was complete, and I finished that up on Friday at VKN. I think I had started the ribbing earlier in the day, and then I finished them up during VKN on Friday, which was nice. Got that done. And then I also finished up my Socks That Rock socks. This one I only had the cast off to do, and this one I just had that much more to do. So again, I finished that up at VKN. 2 pairs of socks done. Only one of them are for me though, but the other one is for a Christmas gift. But I am glad I finished these socks. I am going to be starting another pair of socks soon because we have another family gathering tomorrow and I can't take one of my projects with me. So I'm going to start this pair of socks for me. This is one of the skeins that a few months ago I had listed 4 skeins on Instagram and said which one should I do first, and then had them numbered, and I've pretty much knit them in order. This was the second pair. The first pair was the Leading Men Fiber Arts You Betcha colorway. Is it? Yeah, I think so. This was the second pair that I did. This is the third pair, and I still have one more skein that's sitting up over under my TV because I kept them all out. I wanted to knit all of those socks, so I'm just kind of doing them in order. And I kind of liked that, where I picked 4, and then you guys kind of helped me decide what order to do them in. And so basically what I did was I put it on Instagram and then asked everyone to vote which one I should knit, and whatever had the most votes is the one that I did first. The second most votes was second. I think this was the third most votes, but if not, that's alright. But I do have one more skein over there, and when I start that other skein, I will go through my stash and pick out 4 more. So then you guys can help me decide what order, because that's my biggest difficulty when starting a new pair of socks, is deciding which pair to do. And from seeing my stash behind me, I'm pretty sure you'd understand why. Because I want to knit them all, and sometimes I just can't make a decision as to what I'm going to knit next. So it's been nice to have these 4 skeins sitting up there under my TV, and when I finish a pair, I can just grab another one and say, this is the next one. That's why I've kind of left them there. But this is the next pair that I'm going to make. I think this is self-striping. I don't remember. Yes, it is self-striping. It is the Knit Pearl Girl Sassafras Sock Self-Striping by Hiawassee Creek Dye Works. And I'm pretty sure this may have been a fundraising effort, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, this is the next pair of socks that I'm going to make. And I love bright socks. So that is next up on the agenda. So let's talk about, I'm missing something. I'm missing a couple somethings. Hang on, I forgot to get the projects out of my work bag. Oopsie! Hang on. Okay, I knew I was missing something. So, I have had a chance to do a bit of knitting while at the office this week. Not a lot, but, you know, during lunch and what have you. So, I do have some things here. Actually, it looked like a hole in the knitting, but I think it's just a spot where there's a little slub in the yarn, and it just makes it look bigger. Anyway, here is the back panel. Oh, you're coming back now? Cody had to get up when I got up, so now he's coming back. I know, can you lay still? Anyway, shh. This is the back panel of my Ecuador sweater. And I finished it, obviously, it's cast off. You start this sweater with a rectangle on the back. And from what I understand, one of my friends has knit this sweater, and from what I understand, the back panel is the most important. Now I'm hoping that this is going to work, because this yarn is extremely stretchy. But I tried to make the small, even though I kind of fell between the small and the medium, in hopes that it would all work out. Anyway, so you start the back with a rectangle, and then from here you start this. You take the center of the this rectangle and you cast on so many stitches this way, and you start doing kind of short rows, picking up stitches along this edge, and then I guess you leave an opening for the arm, and then you continue around the bottom half, and then you leave an opening for the other arm, and then you continue across the top. It's really kind of weird, but it looks like a very cool construction, and I'm very excited about getting that part of it going, the outside. I mean, this was so easy. All it was knit stockinette for so many rows and then cast off. So I just finished this today, and I'm looking forward to casting on the next section. I might even get to start that tonight, but I'm not really sure. I might have to do some sim recording tonight. But there it is. And there's the colorway up close. There we go, it's going to focus. It's very cool. It's very, very cool. And as I'm looking at that in the camera, I can see kind of a not really a pooling, but kind of a little bit of a crisscross anyway. But yeah, this is Ella Rae lace. Last time I couldn't remember what it was, but it is considered Ella Rae lace. And I think I am knitting it on a, actually, I think I can look right. I know, but you have to deal with it. I am knitting it on a 4. I think that's what the pattern calls for. I'm not really sure. Anyway, so I'm hoping to have that next part started by the next time I record, which will be next week. So that's one project that I've worked on this week. The next project is again in my flamingo bag. I had my socks in this bag. Shh, just sit still, calm down. I have a new pair of socks in this bag, and here they are. Remember the two-tone navy and oatmeal that I was doing before? Well, this is the complementary pair opposite. Before, I had the main part of the sock was the navy and the toes were the oatmeal. Now this pair is opposite, and I've gotten this much done. Yes, I started these last Saturday, I think. Last Saturday. And my friend Kimberly is texting me. Hi, Kimberly. I think I started them last Saturday, and oh my goodness, what do we have here? You know, this is my life. This is my life in yarn. Why? Yeah, it was either Saturday or Sunday. I'm pretty sure that I have them on my page, on my project page. But this is sport weight yarn, so it does go fairly quickly, and I'm moving right along with them. I'm trying to knit on these socks when I'm doing my walking. I am trying to get my 10,000 steps, and I have been getting them every day for over a week now. Yeah. This summer was a complete fail, but now I think I'm back on track. And I've been doing somewhere between 10,000 and 14,000 steps every day. Anyway, oops, sorry. So these are coming right along. I was thinking about trying Megan Williams' Just Run Knit, her OMG Spacious Heel. But because, and I think I could do it with the two-tone on the heel, but because I'm not sure how much yarn I'm going to have, I want to just go ahead and just do my basic short row heel, because I know that I had enough to do that based on what was left over. So I am going to just go ahead and do that on this pair, and I do want to do the OMG Spacious Heel at some point in the near future. I did buy the pattern. I could have gotten the pattern for free if I had just acted quickly after Zombie Knitpocalypse, but I didn't, and so I did buy the pattern earlier this week so that I could try out that heel. But yeah, I've got tangles in here again, which is normal for me. I do so well until I start pulling stuff out to show you guys. So that is another project that has been moving right along. Oh, I forgot. I have another finished object I forgot to show you. It was started and finished. Speaking of started and finished, the Dishcloth Diva, I am going to draw next week as well. So, yeah, if you want a chance to win that booklet. I did another Lucille Bell dishcloth in some different cotton. I had bought this cotton to do some other dishcloths. I think I had, it was a crocheted one. I had done it with some other yarn before. But honestly, there were so many ends on that thing. I was like, I do not, as much as I liked the texture of that dishcloth that kind of had a woven look to it, it had too many ends. Just way too many ends. This one, on the other hand, you carry the yarn up the side, and Cody is on my lap, so I can't really get too close to the camera. But I don't know, you can see there on the top, I have carried the yarn up the edge, and it still leaves a nice edge, so I don't mind carrying it up like that. You're only carrying it up 2 rows. So this is the other side that you're not carrying it up, so it doesn't look that different. And I don't think I can show you both sides at the same time. Well, maybe. Okay, so the one on the bottom here is the one where I carried the yarn up. So you can tell a little bit, but honestly, it doesn't look bad from the back side. Anyway, so I did knit another one of these because I really liked that pattern. And just like the first time I knit this pattern, there is an error on row, I think it's row 3 or row 1 or something, I'm not sure. It's right at the beginning. And because it's at the beginning, you start doing it and it's like, that doesn't seem right, that doesn't seem right. And then you think, well, let's just do it the way that they say. Because, you know, a lot of times things don't seem right when you're first getting started with it. But then after you get going, it's like, oh, okay, I got it now. Well, the problem is you don't know what you're doing at that point. Even though I had done this pattern before, I did not remember that there was an error. And so my first row is screwed up, but I left it because it is just a dishcloth. I mean, come on, it's not that big of a deal. I did go ahead and leave it, but now that I know that there's an error, I put in my knit companion, for that pattern, I put a little sticky, and hopefully I will remember to read the sticky. But it is a very cool pattern and very intuitive. You can, once you know where the pattern is going, you can just knit it. I knit this up in a couple nights. I've been trying to catch up on my Blue Bloods, so I kind of just worked on that while I was watching Blue Bloods. I love that show. Anyway, so that's a finished object. And I do have lots of this cotton in different colors. I have a lot of the swan, and I think I have 2 different colors of the tan or dark or light brown, a couple of different blues, pink and green. So I'm hoping to make a few different dishcloths, and I'm hoping to do some out of that book. I want to do the olive. The next one is going to be the olive, because I do like that pattern as well. And I have it in my Mary Gale bag, my Spartacus dies. This is one of her little parachute bags. I picked this one up at Zombie Knitpocalypse. What else? And she did give me a new bead for it, but I haven't put that on yet. Okay, next project. I got a lot of knitting done this week. The next project that I started is another pair of slippers. And I didn't get very far on them, but I did start a pair of slippers for Steve. And they're started. And I didn't do the bottom half, because last time I mentioned I like to knit 2 bottoms and then start the top. Well, this time I didn't. I just knit the 1 bottom and just went for it. I wanted to get this project started, but then I wanted to start another project, and then I wanted to start another project. So, yeah. But my goal is to try and complete a pair or a slipper at least every other week. So, there we go. It shouldn't take much longer. I do have this, I have 4 skeins of this blue and 4 skeins of this green. And I'm pretty sure that I only need 2 of each for Steve's size. So the first pair will have the blue on the top, the green on the bottom. The second pair will have the blue on the bottom, the green on the top. But I do like those colors together. Steve doesn't really care what color his slippers are as long as he has new slippers, because honestly, the guy wears holes in his slippers so quickly. And one of these days I'm going to put the like the leather pads under the bottom. But the problem with that is I can't just toss them in the laundry. It's not as easy just to toss them in the laundry. That's the main reason why I don't put the pads on the bottom. So that's another project that started. And then I started another project. A friend of mine just recently published her first knitting pattern, her first paid pattern. And she is Quilter Caroline, and her Clothesline Designs, I want to say, is the name of her shop on Ravelry, I think. Yeah, Clothesline Designs. And the pattern is called Never Shall Meet Shawl. And I have started it. And here it is. It is a kind of a knit on the bias shawl, kind of like the Hitchhiker, where you're increasing. You start off with just a few stitches and you increase. And it's a pattern with 2 sizes, and it's a lot of different textures. There's 5 different textures. Hang on, let me tell you. Well, 3, 4 different textures. Maybe only 4, or maybe I didn't. Yeah, 4 different textures. So right now I only have the first 2 textures, but I thought it was a good pattern for my handspun. And after completing my sweater in my handspun, I was very excited to start knitting another project in my handspun. So I chose this yarn, and so far I like it. I'm not sure how the yarn is going to do once we get to longer rows, but we'll see. This is what the ball looks like. It is a 3-ply chain ply yarn. The yarn is Wool Gatherings. The fiber was Wool Gatherings. And yeah, so I'm excited about knitting more of this. These are the first two stitch patterns, and that's how it goes. I'm just not sure if you're getting if it's gonna focus or not. So this is the second stitch pattern with some eyelets and some just ridges. This is the first stitch pattern. And I won't show you over here because I made a mistake. Actually, you probably can't even tell. You can a little bit, I think. There's supposed to be a purl row in here. I'm trying to show you, but have it focused. But right here, I made a mistake. But it's on the end. I thought, it's fine. I'll leave it for now. But I really like the texture. So go and check out her pattern. It's the shawl is called Never Shall Meet, and let me see. She's got a really nice picture, and with the 2 different sizes. One is just a little bit smaller, but still a good size shawl. With I think it's like the small is 270 to 300 yards. And I thought that was perfect because some of my handspun, I don't get very much yardage, but so she has for a smaller skein or special skein or something like that. And then the large is 455 to 475 yards. So basically your standard fingering weight. But because it's a knit on the bias, I thought it would be perfect for my hand spun. I had hoped to get more knit on this so I could show you, but this week has not allowed that. I was working on this last night and this morning in hopes to get to the third texture, but I did not quite get there. Anyway, I should have more done on it next week to be able to show you that. And my last project is my knit swirl. I did get some progress on the knit swirl. Now you have to remember that I am working from the outside in, and these are some long rows. I haven't worked on my mystery shawl this week, but those are long rows too. But I did get some progress on this. Last time I showed you, and I'm going to try and show you without losing any stitches. Last time I showed you, I think I was about right there. So I got about another welt done. But you can see how it's going to be the purple and then two rows of the green, and then the purple and 2 rows of green, and then the purple. So those will just keep repeating. And so far, I'm very excited about it. Like I said, they are very long rows, and I think I have to do, I want to say like 14 or 15 welts before I do the next step. So right now I'm on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm on the 7th welt. So, and I am still on the first skein of both yarns. Both of them are getting quite low. So I will definitely have to break into the second skein of the green, and I possibly will have to buy a third skein of green. I may just go ahead and do that, just for peace of mind, I guess. It's not that big of a deal either way, because with the color being broken up by the stripes, I don't think it'll be a problem. But it was that big green section that I did down here that caused that to be used so much. I probably should have just done the first welt in green and then done the second welt all in purple, but I was trying to keep it in the same line where I did the first row in purple and then 2 rows in green and then purple. But on this first stockinette section, I thought, well, what's the point in doing 1 row of purple, 2 rows of green, and then 1 row of purple? So I just did the whole thing in green. Well, I think I did the last row in purple, which I was supposed to do, but I just thought, well, what's the point in doing that first row in purple when it's only 1 row? But yeah, I will have to probably order another skein of green, because I do want to do the cuffs also in the green, which means that I will have to do some kind of intarsia, not really intarsia, but you know, having the green on the cuff as well. But I think that's about it. It's gonna be kind of a short show. How many minutes? Well, it's gonna be almost a half hour, or a little bit more than a half hour. But yeah, I'm glad to be back chatting with you guys every week, and I'm hoping that my knitting mojo continues and I can continue to get this much progress done every week. I can't promise it, and please don't hold it against me if I can't get this much progress done every week. But this week I was a little bit caught up on my Sims broadcasts and Let's Plays, so I didn't have too much recording to do for that this week. And I had gotten most of it done on the weekend, and then I got to knit all the time. So that's my plan again for this coming week. And then we have some holiday weekends, which I'm hoping to get some extra knitting time in and whatnot. But again, that's all I've got for you this week. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I am really glad to be chatting with you again on a weekly basis. And if you ever have any questions about knitting or anything else, please feel free to contact me. All of my contact information is at the end of the show, and also on the blog, Ravelry, YouTube, what have you. Anyway, I hope you're knitting blooms this week, and I will talk to you next week. Bye for now.
As always, thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Please feel free to contact me with your comments or suggestions, as I am always trying to improve the show. You can find me on Ravelry, Instagram, and YouTube as Blooming Knitter. You can also find me on Plurk, Twitter, and Pinterest as Blooming Knitter, but I don't frequent those sites as often. I post show updates on Twitter and Facebook, and sometimes to Google Plus and Plurk. I am Miss Aerobics on MyFitnessPal and Fitbit. You can always find all the old episodes as well as links to the tutorials on the blog at www.knittingblooms.com. And you can also follow the show on Facebook. You can email me at knittingblooms@gmail.com, and show notes can be found at knittingblooms.com.